On September 11th, 2001, the world changed forever. I remember coming home from school and putting the news on, seeing the disturbing scenes, feeling a rising sense of anger, of vengeance, knowing that there would be a war over this attack, and backing it fully. That was on the afternoon of September 11th. As the days, months and years passed, it became obvious to me that things were not as we were told. How did we know who'd hijacked the planes? Well, their passports had fluttered down to the ground underneath the Trade Center. That's right, the documents that the terrorists were carrying fluttered down through the fireball, which was hot enough to melt steel, landing safely on the floor. Then there's Building 7, a building not hit by any planes, which was suffering from a few small office fires. This building also fell into its own footprint on 9/11, at almost freefall speed, through the path of most resistance, due to office fires. There's also clear footage of people talking about pulling the building, pulling being the industrial term used for controlled demolition. And this is all before you look at the BBC footage saying that Building 7 has collapsed, whilst it's still plainly in view behind the reporter. Then there's all the evidence of nanothermite that was used, as well as molten metal still being found days after the attack. We could talk about the insurance policies that the owner of the World Trade Center had taken out. Did you know that Larry Silverstein had tried to claim for 2 incidents of terror on 9/11? Or we could talk about the people who didn't go to work that day. Or indeed the people that did. Those who were looking for the Pentagon's missing millions were all convened exactly where the first plane hit the first tower. Or we could talk about all the numerous eyewitness reports, who all talk about explosions in the basement of the buildings. Or we could look at all of the insider trading that happened on 9/11, showing that several people clearly had foreknowledge of the attack and used this to make money shorting stocks. Or we could look at the war games that were going on 9/11, which meant that radio traffic controllers and the military struggled to tell what was real world and what was exercise, allowing all 4 hijacked planes to fly unmolested across America for hours. 9/11 irrefutably was not what we were told it was. Those of you who have been conspiratorially minded for a while will remember how the Patriot Act and other such legislation was laid out in the aftermath of 9/11. These new powers allowed for mass surveillance in the US, and of even the global population, to save them from the terrorists, right? It was clear that the enemy was not some imaginary supervillain hiding out in a cave, getting one over on the most heavily defended nations on the planet. The real enemy was the citizenry. These were the ones who had to be monitored. These were the ones who had to lose their rights. Yet now, 20 years on, this is explicitly what we are being told. We are the enemy. Any free-thinking person is the enemy. Indeed, America is announcing that anybody who is opposed to COVID measures or who has questions about the US's most popular ever president, these people are the new terror threats. 9/11 was never about vengeance for those who hate the West or our freedoms. It was a psyop designed to drum up support for foreign wars to carry out the aims for the project of the new American century. 9/11 was an inside job, at least in part. The evidence for this is overwhelming, and I'd again advise people to visit the Corbett Report at corbettreport.com for more information about this. With this in mind, be careful of those who wish to politically use this anniversary. Biden wanted the troops out by 9/11. Why was this pushed forward? What could be in store for people on this historic anniversary?
I love it. God bless Texas A&M.
Everything woke turns to shit, okay?